Hello everyone, welcome to the session. So this is the part 2 of XAT 2022 decision making solution video. In the part 1 we had taken up half of the questions. In the part 2, this one, we will take up the remaining questions and discuss their answers. And both the parts together will explain the entire decision making portion for XAT 2022. And this is the framework that we are using to solve all the questions. I explained this in the previous video also, and I had done a separate video explaining all these points in detail. I'll pin that in the I section. You can check it out on the top, and I'll also share the link of that video as well, so you can check it out, how to approach and how to make good decisions from purely an exam point of view. Now, these are some points. I'll just quickly revise this and then we'll go to the questions. First point is stakeholders. You have to consider everyone involved in the decision making process when you are taking a decision. And because your decision in a way or the other affects them, so you need to think about everyone before you decide anything. Your decisions must be positive and constructive, and long term impact you have to think about it. You shouldn't be myopic and short term रहना नहीं चाहिए. Biasness you shouldn't have while you're making any decisions. No extreme actions. Okay, managers are expected to operate in moderism. Okay, moderation रहना चाहिए. You should not have any extreme actions unless absolutely necessary. And last point is out of context. Sometimes the options given are out of context. Now I have listed down these 6 points purely based on the analysis of the previous year questions. I've solved all the questions myself, and what I could draw is these 6 points. And if you keep these 6 points in mind, almost all the time 100% accuracy के साथ तुम solve कर सकते हो, and it can be a very high scoring section for you because almost one third of the paper is decision making, and if you can really score well in this 16 17 18 के आसपास अगर तुम इस पे score कर रहे हो तो you have very good chances of getting a 99 percentile in the XAT exam. Okay, so to continue, let us see this one. This was the last set of yesterday's session, and we had discussed this case जहाँ पे एक ये school है, and due to pandemic their revenues have been affected, and ये जो area पे है which is an industrial hub, उसमें most of the students, okay, majority of the students come from affluent families, but there are also people from middle income and lower income groups, and उस school का annual fee is 2 lakhs. So what they had decided is due to COVID 20% fees reduction किए थे, and उनका स्कूल में कैसे कैसे सब हो रहा था, मतलब फीस एलोकेशन 20% to pay the salaries, 30% to upkeep the school, roughly 20% miscellaneous expenses and all, and remaining goes to an exigency corpus. And this year, because of COVID, the classes have been shifted online. The local authorities have mandated that schools have to reduce their fees by 20%, and ऊपर से parents should be extended time to pay the fees. Actually this is something that has happened during the COVID times. तो उसी के basis पे case था, and we did 2 questions. तो उसका ये third question है. Let us take a look at the question. Teachers of future leaders contribute to its stellar reputation. तो ये school का teachers are they are responsible for its stellar reputation. Stellar मतलब like outstanding reputation. Moreover, they assist the school in arriving at several critical decisions. Biswas resents, मतलब he's angry, resents envy their involvement in school matters, as he has to listen to their collective voice rather than the other way around. Okay. Now Biswas कौन है? ये इसके previous questions में उसका context था. You can watch that. Ajay Biswas was assigned to decide that क्या करना चाहिए, what should be the best course of action, and that. So Biswas feels that the current situation offers him an opportunity to get back at the teachers. So he resents the teachers and their involvement in the decision making process, and उसको responsibility दिया गया था to come up with a solution how to regularize the fees and not pressurize the parents but yet manage the revenue of the school. The previous 2 questions were based on that, so you can check it out in the previous video. Now he wants to discuss the possibility of reducing teacher salaries by 20% with the board of trustees. Which of the following, if true, will best enable Biswas to present his case for reducing teachers salaries? I hope all of you understood the context. Okay, तो इसका आंसर क्या होगा? Just सोचो for a while, pause the video, think for a while, and then try and listen to the discussion. 30% of the most experienced teachers may resign if there is a pay cut. Now that is not something that would enable Biswas, so that will stop him. because if he presents this and this is the case, so they will not allow him, because जो सबसे experienced teachers, if they resign, फिर तो कुछ point नहीं रहा. तो this is not the answer. Teacher salaries are a significant part of schools operating cost. This may be a case, but teacher salary school का operating cost का part है. That doesn't mean you will cut it out, because teachers also contribute to the reputation and critical decisions में involved है. Okay, he needs to find some other reason. Most of the teachers are alumni of the school and hence should be asked to give back to school through a pay cut. They could do it. They could do it. uh, Future leaders pays higher salaries to its teachers in comparison to the other schools in the city. Okay, and two other well-known private schools in the city struggling to survive have resorted to a pay cut. Okay, so now this seems to be the right option, like other schools have also done it. Okay, and they are very well known private schools, so they have started doing it, so we can also do it. That is how you present. But if you go with point number 2, 3 and 4, it is like directly coming at the teachers. Okay, you are just targeting the teachers salaries specifically, वैसे लगेगा. एंड ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट रिड्यूस करना मतलब टीचर्स का सैलरी रिड्यूस करना वैसे नहीं है. क्लासेस एनीवेज हैव शिफ्टेड ऑनलाइन. देयर वुड बी अदर वेज टू लाइक क्या कंट्रोल द कॉस्ट, यू कैन से. And anyways, the problem is not cost cutting. Problem is also revenue generating. People are not paying the fees. That is also a problem. Even if you cut their salaries and you don't pay them as much as they're getting, still how do you operate? You have to figure out a way to collect the costs. तो उस सिचुएशन में he wants to get back to the teacher somehow. उसका जो resentment की वजह से, तो वो somehow एक reason figure out कर रहा है. How do I get back at them and how do I use this as an opportunity to cut down their salaries? So rather than directly comparing them or saying that they are alumni, they should give back to the school and all, सीधा सीधा वो बोल रहा है बाकी दो प्राइवेट स्कूल वो भी वेल नोन है, वो भी वो कर रहे हैं, तो वी शुड डू इट. वी आर नॉट द ओनली वन who are going against the teachers or we are paying them less. So everyone is doing this because of the situation. So that seems more believable. Okay. All right. New set. Just pause for a while and read it. In the meantime, I'll explain. Raghuveer, a reputed doctor, practices medicine in a tier 3 city. Okay. This Raghuveer is practicing medicine in a tier 3 city. He owns an imported SUV which he bought 10 years ago using his hard-earned savings of nearly 5 years. Now, initially he used to take it for long rides, but for the last 6-7 years, he only commutes to his clinic, a 10-minute drive from his home. The SUV has been his proud possession, but it demands high maintenance. Also, the diesel guzzling SUV does not comply with the new emission norms being introduced in the tier 1 and tier 2 cities. वो कहाँ पे रह रहा है? tier 3 city में. Every detail matters. Okay. Of late, a few newspapers reported that the new emission norms may be introduced in tier 3 cities as well. This news has worried Raghuveer. Okay. Now Raghuveer is afraid that once the new emission norms are rolled out, he might not be able to use his SUV anymore. Which of the following options will best put Raghuveer at ease with using his SUV for some more time? Quite simple सा context है, simple सा story है, and very easy to understand also. So let us see question क्या इसका है. तो which of the following options will best put Raghuveer at ease? उसका जो stress है that अगर ये norms आ जाते हैं, I'll not be able to use my SUV and maybe resale value भी कम हो जाएगा and all. And it has been his prized possession 10 years ago. तब से उसको रखा है and वेरी इम्पोर्टेड एसयूवी है, तो उसमें अटैचमेंट भी उसका अलग होगा, बहुत पैसा देकर तब भी खरीदा होगा 10 years बैक. तो पहले देखते हैं. हिज मैकेनिक assures him that the new norms will not be introduced anytime soon. Now would he believe the mechanic? No. मैकेनिक को कैसे पता है क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा? तो वो तो hearsay पे most of the times बोलते हैं. So not this. Even if this is true, it won't be believable to Raghuveer. As a sought after doctor, all the law enforcement officials are his patients. Even if they are, so expecting that they will create any special permission for Raghuveer is like kind of encouraging corruption. So we cannot go with this also. And there's no guarantee that this should happen. The city has many other SUVs which are as old as his. That doesn't necessarily mean that उनके लिए कोई special permission निकलेगा. His lawyer friends in his city recently bought non-compliant SUVs from tier 2 cities. उसके lawyer friends in his city recently bought non-compliant SUVs from tier 2 cities. तो लॉयर फ्रेंड्स, लॉयर यहाँ पे इतना ज्यादा सिग्निफिकेंस नहीं रखता है, बट द फैक्ट दैट दे हैव बॉट नॉन कंप्लायंट एसयूवीज फ्रॉम टीयर 2 सिटीज, दैट मीन्स टीयर 3 में आने के लिए थोड़ा लेट है, ठीक है, एंड वो रिसेंटली बाय किया है। इसका तो फिर भी 10 साल पुराना है। नॉन कंप्लायंट एसयूवीज आर स्टिल फ्लाइंग इन टीयर 2 सिटीज। ओके, तो दिस विल बी विच आर द फॉलोइंग ऑप्शंस बेस्ट पुट रघुवीर एट ईज। तो ये 4 में क्या होगा, उसे लगेगा अच्छा ठीक है, अगर सबका हो रहा है तो मेरा भी होगा, तब देखा जाएगा। अभी भी लोग खरीद रहे हैं तो आई शुडंट वरी एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम टू मच। टीयर 1 टीयर 2 में हुआ है, न्यूज़पेपर्स में रिपोर्ट बोल रहे हैं दैट एमिशंस नॉर्म्स मे बी इंट्रोड्यूस्ड। वैसा कोई मतलब अनाउंसमेंट तो हुआ नहीं है, दे आर जस्ट डिस्कसिंग दैट टीयर 1 टीयर 2 तो हो गया, तो नियर फ्यूचर में टीयर 3 में होगा। बट इन द मीन टाइम ही सीइंग दैट उसके फ्रेंड्स लोग तो नॉन कंप्लायंट एसयूवीज अभी भी खरीद रहे हैं, एंड दे आर जस्ट रिसेंटली बाइंग। एंड तो इफ दे आर जस्ट बाइंग नाउ, मेरा तो फिर भी 10 साल पुराना एसयूवी है, तो आई कैन स्टिल ड्राइव इट फॉर सम मोर टाइम, एसयूवी फॉर सम मोर टाइम, और थोड़ी देर चला सकता हूँ मैं, मे बी फॉर अ ईयर और मे बी फॉर अ फ्यू मंथ, मे बी 2 years. ऑल राइट। Now, Anya, Raghuvir's daughter, works in a metro city. She is concerned about private transport emissions and is unhappy with her father's diesel guzzling SUV. Though she wants her father to be more environmentally responsible, she is aware that any drastic suggestion might attract strong resistance. Hence, she wants a solution acceptable to Raghuvir that gently dissuades means negatively persuades him from using his SUV on a daily basis. So she is quite sensitive about this. उसे भी पता है her father is attached to the vehicle, but she is unhappy that it's not complying with the transmission जो emission norms and all, and environment friendly है नहीं, but if she directly complains about that, so it might attract some strong resistance on Raghuvir's behalf, because he's not that much worried about the emissions and safety and environment and all. उसका attachment गाड़ी के साथ अलग है। So she wants to have a solution acceptable to Raghuvir that gently dissuades him from using his SUV on a daily basis. This is what the question is. So which of the following actions by Anya will best dissuade Raghuvir from using his SUV on a daily basis? Take away Raghuvir's SUV to the metro city and gift him a new SUV. तो ये तो पूरा completely अलग solution हो गया। Okay, again, as for the framework, it's a little extreme. एकदम से नया SUV दोगे तो how will you dissuade Raghuveer from using his new SUV? मतलब using his SUV. Gift Raghuveer a small petrol car and convince him to sell his SUV. He will not sell, most likely. Okay, he is trying to extend the use as much as possible. तो अभी पेट्रोल कार नहीं लेगा। जो कार एंथुजियास्ट होते हैं, दे हैव अ पर्टिकुलर चॉइस। एसयूवी वो लिया था, तो मे बी ही इज अ कार एंथुजियास्ट, उसको गाड़ी का परफॉर्मेंस एंड ऑल ही इज काइंड ऑफ, मे बी वी आर अज्यूमिंग दिस, बट पेट्रोल कार गिफ्ट करके उसका कार सेल करने के लिए कन्विंस करना इज अगेन, it might attract some strong resistance. Request Raghuveer to use public transport for his Delhi commute and use the SUV sparingly. Maybe he's a reputed doctor and all, so he might not do this. Ask his mechanic to explore if the SUV can be retrofitted with a CNG kit. Okay, maybe this is a solution, but what will like dissuade Raghuveer from using the SUV on a daily basis? Objective क्या है? To convince him to use the SUV less. Okay, less use करना है on daily basis. Ask Raghuveer's secretary to ferry him to the clinic daily in her car, except for the weekends. So she could indirectly convince her father that आपको थोड़ा बहुत एज हो गया है, maybe, so do not drive the car yourself. Maybe the secretary will drive you to the clinic and back home, and maybe आप weekends पे गाड़ी चलाओ. So that way she has very cleverly persuaded Raghuveer to not drive the SUV more. बाकी सारे केसेस में शी इज डायरेक्टली सेइंग तो आप ये बेच दो या चेंज कर दो और समथिंग लाइक दैट। ओके, तो शी हैज टू डू इट वेरी जेंटली डिसवेड। So I'll go with option 5. समझ रहे, ऑल द ऑप्शंस आर करेक्ट, बट यू हैव टू सी द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन। रिक्वायरमेंट इज वो जेंटली एंड बहुत क्लेवरली उसके फादर को परसुएड करे टू यूज द एसयूवी लेस। एक बार एसयूवी यूज करने में डिपेंडेंसी कम हो जाए, मे बी लेटर ऑन शी कैन कन्विंस हिम टू सेल द एसयूवी। Okay, Let us see this. The new emission norms are about to be get implemented. Okay, in tier 3 cities, and Raghuveer city will follow the suit shortly. Hence, Raghuveer starts exploring options of buying an electric vehicle. He lists the following factors that will guide him on buying an electric car. PQRST, पांच फैक्टर है. First factor, EVs within Raghuveer's budget can cover his daily commute, but not the long rides. Okay, a new electric SUV in the market within his budget nearly has the same look and feel of his present SUV. EVs cannot be driven beyond a speed of 70 kilometers per hour. New charging stations on the main highway connecting his city to the closest metro city may come up in another year. तो चार्जिंग का थोड़ा बहुत इश्यू है. The only shop selling EVs in his city is ready to trade in Raghuveer's SUV at a reasonable price. जो एक्सचेंज बोलते हैं कार को. तो जो न्यू ईवी शॉप है तो वो ईवी के बदले इसका कार को एक्सचेंज करेगा फॉर सम प्राइस विच इज क्वाइट रीजनेबल. The above listed factors have been arranged in a decreasing order of influence in the options given below. तो जब वो कंसिडर करेगा decreasing order of influence, which of the following options will best help Raghuveer buy an electric vehicle immediately? तो पहले क्या कंसिडर करना चाहिए? QTPSR. नाउ थिंक अबाउट रघुवीर. थोड़ा उसके बारे में सोचते हैं. वो एसयूवी तो ले लिया 10 साल पहले, 6-7 साल तक चला है. लास्ट 2-3 साल से ही इज नॉट ड्राइविंग इट टू मच, गोज टू द क्लिनिक एंड बैक. तो ड्राइविंग इतना उसका ज्यादा है नहीं. ओके, so that means EVs cannot be driven beyond a speed of 70 kilometers per hour. एक तो वो सिटी में चलाता है तो ये स्पीड मैटर नहीं करेगा फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल. ओके, ऑल्सो चार्जिंग स्टेशन जो है कनेक्टिंग टू सिटी टू हिज क्लोजेस्ट मेट्रो में कम अप इन अनदर, ये भी ज्यादा मैटर नहीं करेगा. दीज टू फैक्टर्स शुड बी टुवर्ड्स द एंड. सबसे हाईएस्ट फैक्टर इज दिस. पहले तो ये है टू बाय एन इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल इमीडिएटली. अ न्यू इलेक्ट्रिक एसयूवी है मार्केट में विद इन हिज बजट एंड नियरली हैज द सेम लुक एंड फील. तो ये सबसे स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट है. ये सर नो, इलेक्ट्रिक भी है, एसयूवी भी है, उसके गाड़ी जैसा फील भी आता है, विद इन द बजट है, तो सबसे स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट है. तो माय आंसर मस्ट बिगिन विथ क्यू. तो ये बाकी सब तुम इग्नोर कर सकते हो, कैंसिल हो गया. तो पहला ऑप्शन देखते हैं. क्यू के बाद नेक्स्ट इज टी. द ओनली शॉप सेलिंग ईवीज इज ऑल्सो रेडी टू ट्रेड रघुवीर. तो एक तो बजट में आ रहा है, एक्सचेंज भी हो रहा है, तो क्यू के बाद टी परफेक्टली मेक सेंस. बट यहाँ पे क्यू के बाद आर बोल रहा है, तो अगेन क्लियरली ऑप्शन 1 इज द राइट. टी के बाद पी, ईवीज विद इन रघुवीर बजट कैन कवर हिज डेली कम्यूट, तो ठीक है. उसके बाद एस, चार्जिंग स्टेशन भी 1 साल में आ जाएंगे एंड स्पीड चलो 70 के बियॉन्ड नहीं है तो कोई बात नहीं, मैं तो एनीवे सिटी में चलाऊंगा. बट क्यू, टी एंड पी बैक टू बैक कन्विंसिंग एंड दैट कैन कन्विंस हिम टू बाय द इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल इमीडिएटली. तो थोड़ा बहुत पहले इसको पढ़ना पड़ेगा अच्छे से एंड देन थोड़ा बहुत फिगर आउट कर लो कौन सा ऑप्शन पहले आना चाहिए. जैसे मैं देख लिया कि क्यू स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट है, दैट शुड कम फर्स्ट. देन ऑटोमेटिकली माई गेम रिड्यूसेस फ्रॉम 5 ऑप्शन टू 2 ऑप्शन. उसके बाद पढ़ लो, ऑटोमेटिकली इट विल मेक सेंस टू यू कि कौन सा ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. ओके, ऑलराइट. तो वो एक सेट कंप्लीट हुआ. लेट अस कम टू द नेक्स्ट सेट. यू कैन पॉज एंड रीड इट, देन लाइक लिसन टू द एक्सप्लेनेशन. जो लोग ये देख रहे होगे, लेट मी रीड दिस एंड एक्सप्लेन टू ऑल ऑफ यू क्या दिया है यहाँ पे. तो कोरकाई इज अ serene, beautiful, calm, peaceful village nestled in a small island, separated from the mainland by a strait the world forgot to name. Now, its inhabitants are mostly fishermen, a few are cattle grazers too. A boat ride across the strait is the only mode of transport to the mainland. Okay, it's nestled in a small island, थोड़ा दूर है mainland से. A Budugu, the boatman, ferries people, cattle, bicycles across the strait in his boat for a living. The remoteness and the lack of connection to the mainland has served him well, क्योंकि ये एक ही ऑप्शन है उसके पास एंड वही आना जाना करवाता है लोगों को. So he has a family of 5. His 2 daughters are away studying in a city college and dream of corporate jobs in the cities. His ailing mother, मतलब बीमार माँ and wife complete his family. So mother, ailing mother and wife and 3 daughters. Okay, sorry, 2 daughters and he himself. So 5 people, family of 5. Budugu sent his daughters to study in the city as there is only one school in Korkai run by an NGO. The NGO prepares the village kids for higher studies. Now, for those who cannot go to the cities, the NGO teaches them about the virtues of the local way of life. Budugu is a member of the village panchayat that runs the village administration. At Korkai, hardly anyone remembers the local MLA or MP. Interestingly, the local MLA visited last week and informed the islanders of major changes planned for the region, urgent construction of a bridge connecting the island to the mainland, and real estate development. Now, the MLA, she announced that the island will become a well-known eco-tourism destination in the state. She stressed that the local livelihood, dependent on fortunes at the sea, might enjoy the certainty in minimum wages meted out by the eco resort owners. So the life is going to change for them. Okay. Nevertheless, some villagers fear that the bridge will irreversibly change their lives and livelihoods. तो क्वाइट सिंपल थिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड ओके एक पर्सन के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में लिखा गया है बुडुगु एक बोटमैन है एंड उसका इनकम वही वहां से आता है लोगों को आना जाना कराता है एंड जो रिमोटनेस एंड लैक ऑफ कनेक्शन हैज सर्व्ड हिम वेल तो उसका बहुत वहां से अच्छा खासा उसका चल रहा है फैमिली ऑफ 5 एंड उसके 2 बेटियां हैं वो बाहर पढ़ रही हैं एंड नाउ द एमएलए जो ज्यादा तो विजिट करते नहीं है बट रिसेंटली विजिट करके दे हैव प्रपोज अ फ्यू लाइक इको टूरिज्म होगा ब्रिज बनेगा एंड कंस्ट्रक्शन एक्टिविटीज होगा तो इट इज गोइंग टू चेंज देयर लाइव्स तो ऑब्वियसली इतना तो पता चला ब्रिज हो गया तो फिर बुडुगु का जो बिजनेस है वो तो घाटा होगा क्योंकि पीपल विल नॉट प्रेफर बोट्स बिकॉज दैट्स द ओनली मोड ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट राइट नाउ बट एक बार ब्रिज हो गया तो गाड़ी आना जाना होगा तो देयर विल बी ऑल्टरनेट मोड लेट अस सी क्या क्वेश्चन दिया है Now, Budugu fears that the proposed bridge will leave him jobless, exactly, and is determined to do something about it. He wants to gather effective support in order to get the construction of the proposed bridge delayed. Which one of the following will be the most feasible option for Budugu to gather effective support? तो उसको बंद तो करवाना है. So out of the 5 options, which one will be the most feasible option to gather support? Partner with the local NGO and campaign that the developments will ruin the local way of life. Get a resolution passed by the panchayat that the bridge will ruin the local way of life. Suspend his boat services till the villagers start supporting his cause. Now this is again a little extreme. ये तो नहीं होगा. This is kind of like blackmailing. Inform the environmental experts in the nearby cities that the strait is home to rare fish, frogs and turtles. This is not feasible. मतलब उसका कांटेक्ट ही नहीं है नियर बाय एनवायरमेंटल एक्सपर्ट्स को पता लगाएगा कहाँ से फिर उन्हें जाके कन्विंस भी कर लेगा अगेंस्ट द डेवलपमेंट एंड ऑल फॉर्म अ बोट रोर्स एसोसिएशन एंड सिट ऑन हंगर स्ट्राइक अगेन लिटिल टू एक्सट्रीम 1 और 2 लग रहा है उसमें 2 ज्यादातर पॉसिबल है बिकॉज ही हिमसेल्फ इज द पार्ट ऑफ पंचायत तो उन्हें कन्विंस कर सकता है that the bridge will ruin the local way of life. Of course it's going to change and तो उस चक्कर में पंचायत का बात सुनेगा एनजीओ के साथ कैंपेन करेगा तो इट्स गोइंग टू बी अ सोलो कैंपेन तो ऐसा लगेगा कि बुडुगु अपना फायदा के लिए रोक रहा है सारा चीजें बट इफ ही टेक्स द पंचायत इनटू अकाउंट एंड उनको साथ लेके करे तो दैट सीम्स लाइक अ फीजिबल ऑप्शन तो ऑप्शन बी इन दिस केस 2 Okay, let us see this. Now the local MLA is worried about the resistance to the project. This project, like her other successful projects in the nearby villages, was supposed to garner a significant amount of funding. Moreover, it would make her the face of development in the state. Perhaps even would land her a ministerial berth. तो वो अपना agenda में है the MLA. However, Budugu's activism has cast the project in a bad light among the popular minds. The MLA wants to protect her pre-development image. So what should the MLA do now? Which of the following is the best course of action for the MLA? So क्या होगा? Just pause for a while and think what should be the course of action. Invite the village panchayat for a discussion on a possible compromise. तो विलेज पंचायत को बुला के पॉसिबल कॉम्प्रोमाइज ठीक है कॉम्प्रोमाइज ठीक है देखते हैं वी डोंट नो मच अबाउट क्या कॉम्प्रोमाइज सोल्यूशन हो सकता है publicized widely that the project will improve the socio-economic condition of the island. So this could be a good reason. Why are people worried? They are worried that unka livelihood is going to change, their lives are going to change, the way of life that is going to get affected. But if she can convince her using public campaigns and awareness उनको करे that ये जो उनका जो social economic condition is going to improve, connected होंगे तो tourism बढ़ेगा and business बढ़ेगा, everyone is going to get new opportunities and avenues to explore, then maybe people will be convinced. So this is positive and constructive. Okay, positive and constructive. Appoint a task force to find alternate land nearby for the project. So it's giving up too soon. Okay, giving up too soon. Maybe this will be the second plan of action, not the first. Discredit Budugu in a public meeting by announcing that he is putting his interest over and above the village development. Again, not the right course, because वहीं पे उनको काम करना है, तो इसका against जाना is also not good. And पंचायत anyways बुडुगु के साथ में है, तो उसको discredit करना मतलब again taking like operating in bad faith. Create a fisherman and boat rowers cooperative in the island and donate generously to it. ये थोड़ा corruption type का हो जाएगा. So option 2 seems to be the best option here. Okay, hope this makes sense. मतलब more or less this is quite sensible, and look at it how interesting these questions are. They are giving you real life challenges, real life situations दे रहे हैं, so that you think on this, because once you get into jobs and you start working, more or less it's not like this is what you're going to do, but similar situations you have to face, and you'll have to collectively think about everyone. You cannot think about your own business interest and all. Movies में देखोगे ऐसा हो रहा होगा, वो गुंडा भेज दिया and all, but real life में it doesn't work that way. You will have to think about everyone and yet get the job done. तो क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, एंड सबके पर्सपेक्टिव से सोचना चाहिए. पहला क्वेश्चन बुडुगु के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से था, सेकंड इज फ्रॉम द एमएलएस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. Let's take a look at this one. As the project gets delayed, Budugu becomes a well-known social activist with a lot of followers. When Pragati, his elder daughter, finishes her education and starts looking for employment, a few known corporates refuse her job because of her father's anti-development stand. Which are the following? Now this is something new. Which of the following best communicates to the corporates that Pragati has an identity of her own? Go all out on social media to explain how her father's activism is misconstrued by certain corporates. तो अगर तुम्हें वहीं पे जॉब चाहिए एंड तुम उनके अगेंस्ट जा रहे हो, तो डजंट मेक सेंस. ओके, तो ये दिस इज एक्सट्रीम. Stop using her last name in the job applications. Again, extreme. Like hiding away from the problem. Showcase on social media the accolades and awards she received in her college. This is positive. She is not indulging in this at all. She is proving her own worth, that I am not responsible for what my father is doing back there. So I am an identity of my own, and you look at my achievements and awards and also I deserve to showcase that on social media. Discuss in a social media post why she supports the proposed development in her island village. Again, doesn't make sense. उसका purpose वो नहीं है. उसका purpose है कि how to get a job. तो job के लिए क्या करना चाहिए? उसका personal beliefs and all may be different. Start a blog and update it regularly with views on current affairs. Out of context. समझ रहे हो? Those 5 points every time. Stakeholders, positive, long term, and no extreme actions, no biasness, and out of context. These points, if you keep in mind, you'll always get the answers correct, always. Okay, let's come to the next set. Fundamental research in science and corporate applications is an R&D unit of a public sector undertaking. The employees are research scientists who assist the public sector undertaking through their R&D. Given the far-reaching implications of its research, this Furska was established as a separate entity near the factory of the PSU. Okay, so this is the R&D unit of this PSU. So as a separate entity established हुआ था because of its far-reaching implications, research and all हो रहा है. एंड यहाँ के जो R&D जो करते हैं वो रिसर्च साइंटिस्ट हैं, तो ये वो PSU को असिस्ट करते हैं थ्रू द रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट. Now Fusca has 3 levels of hierarchy: junior, senior and chief scientists. and all of them reside on the campus. Hence, every scientist, regardless of hierarchy, resides in a house that is similar in all aspects. Though the scientists are entitled to a house rent allowance (HRA), given the distance of Fuska from the city, housing them on the campus makes sense. Newly recruits are provided a transit accommodation in the institute's studio apartments until vacant houses are available. For these recruits, a queue has been created on the basis of their date of joining and not on the hierarchy, with the most recent recruit going to the last in the queue. Execution of this policy is the responsibility of the chief administrative officer of this FUSCA, who reports to the director. तो ये सिचुएशन है काइंड ऑफ एक नॉर्मल सा कॉर्पोरेट सिचुएशन है कि वहाँ पे जो भी आते हैं उनको वो कैंपस में ठहराते हैं एंड एचआरए उनका है बट इतना डिस्टेंस से आना जाना करना थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है इसीलिए कैंपस में उनको देते हैं बट द न्यू रिक्रूट्स जो आते हैं उनको जो ट्रांजिट अकोमोडेशन देते हैं मतलब दे आर प्रोवाइडेड अ ट्रांजिट अकोमोडेशन इन द इंस्टीट्यूट स्टूडियो अपार्टमेंट अंटिल वेकेंट हाउसेस आर अवेलेबल तो टेम्पररीली स्टूडियो अपार्टमेंट उनको देते हैं तो उनके लिए क्यू मतलब एक लाइन हैज बीन क्रिएटेड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द डेट ऑफ ज्वाइनिंग एंड नॉट ऑन द हायरार्की विद द मोस्ट रिसेंट रिक्रूट जो अभी रिसेंट आया उसका सबसे नीचे रहेगा जो पहले आया होगा उसके ऊपर रहेगा एंड ये सब एग्जीक्यूशन कौन करता है एक चीफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑफिसर है हु डायरेक्टली रिपोर्ट्स टू द डायरेक्टर दिस इज व्हाट द कॉन्टेक्स्ट है इसको लेकर अभी क्वेश्चंस बनेंगे लेट अस सी द क्वेश्चन हर्ष कोहली okay Harsh Kohli resides in house number 324 since long Harsh wants to move from a 3 series house to a 2 series house because his mother-in-law a chief scientist lives alone in house number 225. A few years back Harsh formally requested the CEO to allow him to move to a 2 series house whenever available. Recently when the house number 224 becomes vacant Harsh appeals to the CEO for that house, citing his earlier request. Currently, there are 5 scientists waiting in the queue, and Sof Tangud is on the top of the queue. So from the following options, choose the best action to be taken by the CEOs without violating the existing housing policy. तो क्या करना चाहिए? Allot house number 2224 to Sof, asking Harsh to negotiate a possible swap. Maybe this is quite possible. Create a separate queue for extant residents and give them the first right to refuse. Though this is going way out of the policy, ये तो नहीं हो सकता अलग से ये कुछ पॉलिसी कर रहा है ask Harsh to join the queue because scientists in the queue should be given priority. So this is not going to solve the problem. वो 1 साल से 2 साल से बोल रहा है few years back तो कुछ दिनों तो काफी दिन हो गया उसको बोलते हुए तो ये नहीं हो सकता ask Harsh to move to house number 224 immediately and allocate Harsh house to Sof. This can be done. ठीक है तो क्यू का जो पर्पस क्या है ये जो क्यू का पर्पस है दैट जब जितने हाउसेस अवेलेबल है कैंपस में वो तो मिलेगा बाकी जो नए लोग आ रहे हैं उनको बेसिस ऑफ अवेलेबिलिटी में नाउ दिस Sof Tangud इज एंटाइटल्ड टू अ हाउस अभी वो नहीं बोल रहा है कि मेरे को सीरीज 2 का चाहिए सीरीज 3 का चाहिए ऑल हाउसेस आर इक्वल ये 224 लेगा तो 225 उसके मदर के पास रहेगा एंड दैट इज अ जेन्युइन रीजन ऐसा नहीं कि हर्ष इज टेकिंग अवे द राइट फुली जो एंटाइटल्ड हाउस ऑफ Sof Tangud तो दे आर जस्ट मेकिंग अ स्वैप बट तुम ऐसा स्वैप करने के लिए बोलोगे तो दैट इज मे बी और मे नॉट बी वैसा एक सिचुएशन हो जाएगा व्हाट इफ ही डिसएग्रीज बट आप अगर उन्हें बोल ही नहीं रहे हो it's not like we're violating anything. Sof Tangud is entitled to a house. 3 series हो 2 series हो you're not violating any policy. एक वैकेंसी है एंड हर्ष ऐसा नहीं कि बोल रहा है मैं 2 हाउस रखूंगा वो अपना हाउस छोड़ रहा है तो वहां पे इसको असाइन कर लो इसको यहाँ पे दे दो समझ रहे हो तो दिस इज नॉट वायलेटिंग एनी कंडीशन एंड द बेस्ट एक्शन टू बी टेकन Let us see this one. Off late, the CAO has received several requests from the residents of 3 series houses to move to other series houses. The CAO is aware that this is largely because of their own noisy factory nearby. Due to limited housing available on the campus, you must do something before the problem worsens. अब सब लोग डिमांड कर रहे हैं 3 series का लेन छोड़ने के लिए because वहाँ पे नॉइज है He wants to find a solution that makes the lives of 3 Series residents more comfortable. Which one of the following actions can best help the CAO in achieving his goal? तो अब क्या आएगा? What should be the answer here now? Install expensive soundproof windows in the 3 Series quarters. Little extreme. Expensive soundproof will be. Provide 3 Series residents with a hardship allowance of 15%. Again, this doesn't make sense. पैसे के लिए वो थोड़ी रिवोल्ट कर रहा है. Appeal to the top management to make the factory work only 5 days a week. Maybe ये हो सकता है. Offer higher HRA to 3 Series residents, nudging them to move to the city. Again, not a problem, like not a solution. Introduce a policy of accelerated promotion for ये this is out of context. We'll go with this one. ठीक है, थोड़ा बहुत परमानेंट, क्योंकि 3 सीरीज में तो लोग रहेंगे ही. ये कंप्लेन कर रहे तो आगे ना कोई तो आएगा ही. तो ही हैज टू सॉल्व इट फ्रॉम आउटसाइड, नॉट फ्रॉम इनसाइड. मतलब 3 सीरीज रेसिडेंट्स में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बाहर से नॉइज आ रहा है तो उसके लिए कुछ करना चाहिए. इनको यहाँ से भगाएगा या इन्वेस्ट करेगा या पैसा ज्यादा देगा हाउस रेंट अलाउंस में, तो दैट डजंट मेक सेंस. ऑलराइट, लेट अस कम टू दिस वन. Sundarsan was a professor of corporate responsibility at a premium management institution. As a requirement of his course, students had to synthesize sustainability challenges faced by thermal power companies and submit an assignment on them. Though it was an individual assignment, some students sought permission from Sundarsan to work on the assignment as a team. Sundarsan knew that collaboration fosters peer learning and therefore allowed them to work in teams. However, he mandated that the team should not exceed 3 members. While 15 students elected to work individually, other 15 formed teams of 3 each and another 10 formed teams of 2 each. So 15 अकेले काम किए, while 15 students formed teams of 3 each and 10 members formed teams of 2 each. तो ऐसा करके टीम ऑफ 3, टीम ऑफ 2 एंड इंडिविजुअली काम कर रहे हैं. क्वाइट सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है. लेट अस सी. Now, as the assignment deadline came closer, Sundarsan was approached by Abbas Swaram, who chose to work in a team of 3 members. He informed that Venkama, his team member, distressed by the death of her grandmother, could not work on her bit of the assignment. Abbas requested for a deadline extension so that she could finish her part of the assignment. By then, many students who were working alone had already submitted their assignments. Which of the following actions by Sundarsan is the most appropriate given the circumstances? So, should he extend? Should he not extend? क्या करना चाहिए? Let us see. So give the students a deadline extension, but add an extra assignment for the team as a new requirement. Maybe disband the team and ask each student to work individually. अब करने से क्या फायदा, फिर से ज़्यादा टाइम लगेगा. Warn Abbas that such issues should not be flagged to the professor and should be handled within the team. Give extra time to Venkama to work individually and ask the other two to stick to the original deadline as a team. Extend the deadline for the team while imposing a 1 grade penalty for the deadline extension. This is a little out of context. It has to go be option 3. क्यों? It may sound a little harsh now, but because of this, that people working alone, they had already submitted their assignments. So you are a group of 3, you should have done it much earlier. How can you ask for deadline extension? जो लोग अकेले काम कर रहे हैं अगर वो सबमिट कर सकते हैं, so you shouldn't ask for deadline extension. And even if she couldn't focus on her bit, so because you are a team, you should have handled it as a team rather than flagging these issues to the professor. So there's a purpose we have like assigned, like I allowed you to do teamwork, because this is the meaning of teamwork. एक teammate का अगर problem है तो you guys should handle it amongst yourselves rather than asking for a deadline. जबकि जो लोग अकेले काम कर रहे थे तो ऑलरेडी सबमिट कर चुके हैं. So that is why go with 3. अभी तुम्हें लग रहा होगा ये थोड़ा हार्श है, थोड़ा डेडलाइन दे देते हैं, बट डेडलाइन एक्सटेंशन इज बीइंग पार्शियल टू देम हु हैव ऑलरेडी सबमिटेड, especially to people who are working in teams. Now, when Sundarsan was about to grade the assignments, he received a request from the class representative regarding the students who worked individually. The request was to give those students additional marks because they handled the entire workload. This should improve the course grade significantly. Which of the following is the most appropriate action by Sundarsan to mark the assignments? तो क्लास रिप्रेजेंटेटिव बोल रहा है दैट जो लोग इंडिविजुअली दिए हैं उनको थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा मार्क्स देने के लिए. तो डिवाइड द टोटल मार्क्स अवॉर्डेड टू अ टीम बाय द नंबर ऑफ टीम मेंबर्स. दिस इज अनफेयर, वैसे तो नहीं हो सकता. रिड्यूस मार्क्स फॉर दोज हु वर्कड इन टीम्स बाय 10%. नो रैशनल फॉर कटिंग डाउन 10%. ट्रीट बोथ इंडिविजुअल वर्क एंड टीम इक्वली. बिकॉज जो लोग इंडिविजुअली काम किए they had a choice to also work in teams but they worked individually, which is fine. तो एंड में बोलना कि हमें एक्स्ट्रा मार्क्स चाहिए, दैट डजंट हैव एनी रैशनल. तो 10% कट करना या 10% एक्स्ट्रा देना उसका कोई लॉजिक नहीं बनता. कन्वर्ट द असाइनमेंट इनटू अ नॉन ग्रेडेड असाइनमेंट बिकॉज बोथ इंडिविजुअल्स एंड द टीम्स वर्क ऑन द सेम असाइनमेंट. अगेन आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट, क्या रीजन से असाइनमेंट दिए थे, क्या किए थे, वी डोंट नो, बट दिस इज बीइंग फेयर. ओके, नो बायसनेस. Okay, quite simple cases and situations. Sundarsan was going through the submitted assignments. Team 9 with 3 members. Okay, team 9 था 3 members का, had impressive exhibits in chats. Later he discovered that the team 13 with 3 members also had the same exhibits in chats. He realized that one of the teams had copied from the other. Hence he informed both the teams that he would award an F grade to both the teams for copying. Later that evening, Ashi from Team 9 called and admitted to sharing exhibits and chats with Anvi from Team 13. Further, she mentioned that Anvi could not put enough effort since she lost significant amount of time due to COVID-19. Therefore, Anvi requested for help. However, Anvi assured Ashi that she would not reproduce the shared content. Ashi requested Sundarsan to punish her and Anvi and spare others as they were not involved. Okay. Which of the following actions by Sundarsan is the most appropriate? Punishing both the teams by giving F grades, award an F grade to both Ashi and Anvi and spare others, ask both the teams to work on an extra assignment to award an F grade, punish Anvi with an F grade and spare others, spare both the teams as such a confession is rare. Now this will vary from person to person, but going by the ethics, it should be one. क्योंकि दोनों ने चीटिंग किया था, नो मैटर व्हाट द circumstances. If that was the case, they could have approached Sundarsan and asked him for an extension of deadline because COVID-19 तो सबके लिए था. If they could do it, why you couldn't do it? अगर कोई वैसे स्पेशल केस है तो you could have directly communicated with the faculty rather than cheating. And the team, you are responsible for your own team. अगर तुम कुछ गलत कर रहे हो तो the consequences has to be faced by the team, not you. That's the meaning of team spirit. जब अच्छा होगा सबके लिए अच्छा होगा, जब बुरा होगा कोई एक के लिए बुरा होगा, नो, इट हैज टू बी द टीम. सो इवन इफ यू हैव डन द मिस्टेक, द टीम इज गोइंग टू सफर फॉर दैट. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ टीम वर्क. So that is the option 1. All right. So this completes the second half of the questions for XAT 2022. तो ये 2 पार्ट में हमने पूरा डिसीजन मेकिंग सेक्शन का सारे क्वेश्चंस हमने कवर किया. होप यू अंडरस्टूड. मैं XAT 2021 का भी आई ट्राई एंड कवर दिस एंड अपलोड द वीडियो. XAT 2021 का डिसीजन मेकिंग ऑल्सो. तो जितने भी क्वेश्चंस करेंगे इट विल बी सिमिलर, बट लाइक यू अंडरस्टैंड, आई होप ऑल ऑफ यू गेट एन आइडिया दैट कैसे ये क्वेश्चंस को करने चाहिए एंड व्हाट शुड बी योर अप्रोच व्हेन यू सॉल्व दीज काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन, व्हाट फ्रेमवर्क यू शुड यूज. So try and solve more and more questions. Even if you have solved, try and use them using this framework that I have provided. So that is it for this session from my end. Thank you all for watching the video. If you are new to the session or new to my channel, do subscribe to the Aptitude Club channel and hit the bell icon and like this session. Share it with your friends also if you like this video, and stay tuned for the upcoming videos. Till then, thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.